day 5 of 100 Days of Code. Today is Creative Friday, so I'm going to be using AI to write music. That's the plan anyway. So let's just jump straight in. Let's see. So I already asked a question. I'm in Chat-GPT at the moment. How can I use Node.js to connect MIDI on a Mac to get it coming into my MIDI software? All right, so create a virtual MIDI cable. 2 easy options. Option A, IAC driver, and option B, a virtual port from Node. No IAC needed. Which is the better option? Option IAC or other? Which one is most stable and which one is easier to use? All right, one-off testing, performance setup, long-running Node scripts or live routing. Here's a breakdown for what you actually want. IAC driver, okay. Built-in macOS, rock-solid stability, Apple's own system driver, persist across reboots, that's good. Visible to all apps, 0 code complexity, just opens the MIDI port like hardware. Must enable, these are the cons, must enable manually in audio MIDI setup. That's okay. Limited naming flexibility, no problem. Only works locally, no network MIDI, no problem. Single process can't own it. If multiple apps open it, the message may get doubled or jumbled. Okay. Best for if you want a reliable, always-on bridge between Node and Reason. There, that's kind of where I'm at. Node created virtual ports. MIDI libraries open virtual ports. No setup in macOS UI, 1 line of code. Custom name. Appears directly in Reason. Runs isolated. If you restart Node, the port disappears. It's clean. Exists only when the script runs. Reason loses the connection if Node stops. Not all apps refresh port lists dynamically. Reason usually does, but not always. Interesting. A bit less battle tested than Apple's IAC kernel driver. You're developing a Node-based MIDI tool for live performance script. You want clean session isolation, no ghost ports. You don't want to click around in audio MIDI setup. Fully scripted. Ease of use. Persists after reboot. Temporary lives of process. System-wide. Local app only. I'm leaning more towards the Node visual port now. I've read that. More towards the Node virtual port. Give me a minimal script to get this going and fire a few notes into Reason. Okay. So let's be a minute. It's the first iteration. Oh, it's learning my rules. Wow, that's interesting. Virtual name, Node virtual out, simple melody, note on, tries to open the virtual port, plays the next note, close port on SIGINT, good. Loop, please. Where's the loop happening here? Play next. Note length. Oh, it's setting the timeout. Okay. All right. Let's give it a try. Let's close all of this. That was from the other day. Let's get a package JSON in here first thing. Sorry. Git ignore. DS store. Store has a capital, I think. .zip if I ever share any zip files, and whoops, can't type today. Maybe I'll make the text bigger so it's easy to see it on the stream. Node modules. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. Good. Now if I start that again, will it auto detect? Yeah, okay, good. Nice. Oh, that was a quick result. It's good. Okay. How could I use Reason to drive the sync and fire the notes out based on Reason's playback? Do you understand what I'm trying to get at? You want Reason to be the clock master? Absolutely, yeah. When you press play in Reason, your note process should follow Reason's transport, so MIDI notes, other events fire in sync with Reason's tempo, bar position, and playback state. Let's break it down clearly. The concept: Reason can output MIDI clock and MIDI start, stop, continue messages, collectively called MIDI sync. If you enable this on a MIDI output port, IAC driver or virtual device, Reason sends FA for start, FB for continue, FC for stop, and F8 for clock. One tick equal 24. One tick, 24 ticks per quarter note. Okay. Node can listen for these and drive its timing from Reason's clock. Okay. How to enable MIDI clock out? Preferences, sync. Preferences, sync, send MIDI clock. Reason. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Preferences, sync. Send MIDI clock. I guess it's this. Oh, send MIDI clock while sequence has stopped. Send MIDI clock. If you're using your Node virtual port, Reason can't send to that one because it disappears when Node isn't running. Yep. So IAC is better for clock sync. Enable send MIDI clock and optionally start stop commands, which maybe that's their stuff. Let's give this I'm not sure where I can select IAC as a driver. Do I need to create this in Audio MIDI first? I must do. Aggregate device, maybe. Why is it going so slow? Yeah. Command space in here. Oh wait, no, command space. Type audio MIDI. Oh yeah. Windows show MIDI studio. Oh, okay. Network, Bluetooth, maybe your audio interface. So, did I make this bigger? Yes. Launchpad. What's behind there? That's the IAC driver, okay. Double click the grey IAC driver icon. Okay. A dialog titles, IAC properties, check devices online. Now we should see it in Reason, I think. So if we go to MIDI, IAC driver bus 1. Good, all right. So we can probably close that. Let's see, double click the grey IAC driver icon. This thing? Oh, no, I already did that. Check devices online, optional underports, click to add one or rename it. Looks like it already has one port, which is good for now. The icon will now turn colored. Yep, I see that. Optional under, yep, indicating the virtual MIDI port is active. This is a fun, interesting test. Yep, there it is, but we already saw that in Reason. Wow, MIDI on Mac has got better since I used it in 2020. This wasn't this simple last time I tried. In your node script that listens for a clock, in name would you like me to show you the bidirectional setup? Yes, please. Thinking. Implement SPP. What is SPP in MIDI software? Song position pointer, okay. Bus driver 1, node virtual out. Here's the pattern we're playing. Gate ticks. New MIDI input, new MIDI output. Find the right port, node on and node off. Get the IAC name. Listening. Open virtual ports. On message. Running. Tick. Active notes.length. Okay. Song position pointer. Okay. Let's give this a try. Let's make a new folder. Lib MIDI. I'm going to duplicate this to MIDI I0. And then I'm going to create a new file. MIDI I1. Actually, did I paste all this yet? Yeah, I did. Okay, so let's just run it. Node lib MIDI I1. Right, so now supposedly it's listening to Reason for its I don't hear any MIDI events coming in anymore. I should have told it that Reason is playing. And Reason is looping around playing right now. I think you hit the classic started node after Reason was already playing snag. No, I didn't though. At least as far as I remember. Started node after Reason was already playing. So let's try. I'll start node first. I'll play. I get nothing. I reposition. I get nothing. So I'll start playing first, and then I'll start node. Nothing. Tiny patch. Actually, before you give me a patch, whether I started node first or started Reason playing first, I still get silence. Oh, did I not select the right bus? Let's see. Those are inputs. There we go. That's probably what I did. Whoops. So I'm starting the nodes MIDI server, I guess you'd call it. Okay, I did not have the bus selected in the output drop down in the reason preferences window. I've fixed that now. What order should I be running in? What order of operations should I use to hear output? Ensure the ports are visible. Okay, I'm pretty sure they already are. IAC driver bus 1. Maybe it's that. Connections for bus 1, MIDI in 1, MIDI out 1, so that seems okay. What I have here so it knows what I'm seeing. Outputs should be none. I'm confused why you're saying outputs should be none. I have a whole bunch of outputs, but I think it's okay. Let's see. Launch node first. Notes, yep. MIDI out. Users master keyboard. It was already playing before I selected users master keyboard, so I don't think that it's that. I guess it's not running right now, so I'm not going to see it. No, I should see it show up virtual MIDI out. And let's just check if I was to run iteration 0. Yep. So I am getting the sound that way. Okay. I still hear the sound when I get iteration 0 of the code you gave me running with my current setup. I think all my settings are correct as far as I know, so I think the issue is in the code. I still do not hear any sound when Reason starts playing. Troubleshooting, quick check, stop playing Reason, forces the start message. Let's leave that running, new tab, make that big so you can see it. That just seems to hang. Because I've got this running already. Oh no. the command you gave me in step 5.2 seems to just hang. And that includes when I have the node scripts running and when I don't. Okay. Node isn't receiving any clock or transport messages from reason. Start fresh, quit reason and restart it. Reason only enumerates MIDI ports on launch. Reason actually these days enumerates MIDI ports in real time, and every time I start the node script, I haven't had to add a MIDI device for the virtual output port even once. It just detects it and starts playing the current instrument. Preferences sync, MIDI clock sync, IAC driver bus 1. Preferences sync. MIDI, alright, so we'll double check, triple check. Preferences. Let's see. But you know what? We'll close reason as it says anyway. Listening on IAC bus driver 1. Oh, I don't need to run this, I'm just testing. I do not see any messages from the IAC bus. I've tried stopping, starting, rewinding, placing the cursor in different positions. Okay, so double click the eye, make sure device is online, make sure there's at least one port, usually bus 1. Well, I think we already did that, but let's take a look. Bus 1, maybe add another port. Bus 2 can be, I can't change it manually. Interesting. Maybe the bus has to be online before reason starts or something. Let me try that. Oh, let's load our file. Still not seeing anything. Resets reasons clock system. It's a trick that fixes it 9 times out of 10. Oh, interesting. Okay. Go back to reason preferences. Sync. Set MIDI clock output to off or none. Oh! It says it's off. It says it's offline. But it didn't say that before. That doesn't look grayed out. Maybe I have to turn it on when reason's already open. Let's do no MIDI clock. Let's try it again. Now it's online. Oops. Probably shouldn't have to restart that. Oh, gosh. I didn't even follow the instructions. All right. Preferences. Set MIDI clock output to off and none. No MIDI output clock. Close reason completely. Okay, I guess we can save. Oh, we don't want to save that one. Reopen reason. Looks like it's still running. Reopen. Turn the bus on again. Bus 1. Return to preferences. Sync. Yeah, select again. Hit play and rerun your node sniffer. They have to be playing first. Okay. Nothing in the grep command you gave me is output, and I followed all your other instructions, and I still didn't get any output after the text listening on IAC driver bus 1 for the small sniffer that you gave me. Delete all the existing ports. Okay. Open. So we're going to look at this again. Delete all the ports. All right. No available ports. Apply. Quit audio MIDI setup. Saves config. Oh my goodness. So this wouldn't have worked anyway unless I quit audio MIDI setup. Confirm that we see the ports. Force reason to reopen the port. Turn it off again. Turn it on again. Alright, so preferences. It says it's offline, so turn it off again. Turn it on again. Send MIDI clock while stopped. I think it's working from an old version of Reason. Where do you see the options? Send MIDI clock while stopped, send song position pointer, send start, stop, continue. Oh, I guess I see them. Never mind. I think the language just changed slightly and it threw me. Make sure they're checked. Close preferences, open the main transport bar, look for the MIDI clock output icon by the metronome symbol. Is it that? Sync mode, internal MIDI clock, send MIDI clock. Aha. Now it might, I think now it might work. It might have just been this setting here. I found this setting called send clock and I've clicked that, so maybe this will help. I'm going to run the sniffer again. Oh, there we go. We're here. Okay, after clicking send MIDI clock, an option I saw on sync mode, there's a little sync mode piece. I was able to get the sniffer to see the MIDI transport messages. All right, so but I'm still not getting anything. Make sure virtual out says, I don't think I need to set virtual out. Oh, I lost. Interesting. Have I lost it? Ah, because I'm in the wrong file. So maybe it was working after all. Hooray! Let's add the click track and see if it's in line. Good. All right. Fantastic. Everything's working now. I hear the arpeggio that you created and it's perfectly in time with the click track. Okay, what's next? Let's make some next I would like you to, when you send the note out and when you receive the start, stop, play and position messages, to log those to the console. Please update the script. No, I don't want it to log every tick. So we'll comment that out. And then I'm going to keep this chat open and start a new chat to have one focused on MIDI connections, writing things into that script, and the other AI session focused on building more detail around the notes. I want to build a table of scales and so on to build an arpeggiator. So, and an arpeggiator is just something that pumps out loads of notes based on the scale you give it, or maybe the keys that you press, and sort of fires those notes on a given timing. And yeah, it sounds good. So let's drop this code in first and see. We're going to duplicate this. Iteration 2. Oh, did I do that right? Let's check. Okay. We'll rerun this guy. Nice. Good, good, good. All right. Oh, wait. I'm not seeing any notes. Oh, because I'm running the first iteration still. There we go. On, off. All right. I just want some feedback for now. I will cut that out later. Right, let's talk to the other session here. Give me a list of common scales and modes. Church modes. Okay, good. I want you to simplify the list. I just want on each line I want the name of the scale, and then I want the scale itself. Actually, here, what do we got? 1, 2, 3 is a flat, 4 is a sharp. And then I want the interval position between the notes on the scale. As a JavaScript array. Let's see what we get from that. Stop. Have you represented the first note in the scale? I would expect the first index of the array to be 0. First number in the array to be 0. And I didn't expect you to output the notes themselves, like C, D, E, F, G, A, B for Ionian. And what do you think I might be asking you for the first note to be 0? Why do you think I might be asking you that? Intervallic logic programmatically, okay. C major, scale and semitones relative to the root. Alright, so you're likely planning to represent pitch relationships numerically, that's correct. Not literal note names, good. Because I want to be able to move, you've got a scale, but you've got to be able to move it around to any note as its base note. So we want the intervals, not the notes. Scale is a series of relative intervals from the root. Root is the word, not base in music. It's representing the first degree as 0, allows you to compute the others by cumulative semitone offsets. Correct. Lets you transpose easily. Perfect. Apply to any root. Yep. Feed directly into MIDI note math. Very good. Build scales dynamically for generated sequences or synthesis mappings. Good. The earlier array expresses interval steps between notes, but programming is often better to use the cumulative positions, semitone offsets from the tonic, so 0 is a better form. Yep. Would you like me to rewrite the entire list? Yes, and you can put the whole list in just JSON. Interval formulas. What is an interval formula? Each number in the formula represents the number of semitones above the tonic. So for the C major Ionian scale, semitone offset. So don't I already have the interval formula? So didn't you already give me the interval formula for each of those? Yeah. Yeah. So I've already got the most musically and programmatically useful representation. No, I don't want the steps, I only want the intervals. The steps are easy to generate from the intervals in my mind. What's it going to say? Intervals are the canonical representation, yeah. So it's writing it for me again. Is it going to be the same? But without spaces. Let's see, how many have we got? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait. 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. If you were to consider all of the scales in the world, not just these popular ones, which ones might you add? There we go. Neapolitan. Octatonic. Oh, interesting. Never heard of that one. So add all of the recent scales that you just gave me and update the JSON format so that each scale name key is an object with ascending and descending scale. And if the scale is the same ascending and descending, the scale is repeated twice. Do you understand what I'm asking? Right. Now, I know that's a lot of duplication for scales that don't ascend and descend differently, but I would prefer a flat implementation because it's easier to implement. And it's not a lot of extra data. So new file, scales.json. Oh, that's good. Let's just make it another JavaScript. Oh, export default scales. Actually, breaking unicorn rules right now. Okay. Beautify JSON. Invalid JSON. True. I didn't want it to look that beautiful. Don't make me do this manually. Oh, what I need is prettier or something. Defaults. Huh? Oh, prettier RC dot. Oh, dot prettier RC. Yep. Give me a prettier RC style for the coding style that you think I like. Let's see if it pulls from memory. Okay, yeah. No, that's edit. Did I say editor RC? Did I say editor RC or prettier RC? I said RC style, did I? Okay, fair enough. Okay, ignore the word style. Just give me the prettier RC file. RC file. Oh, gotta laugh. All right. There we go. Right. Scales. It's still not going to format it the way I want it, is it? Please reformat the JSON so that each scale name is on a new line, and the ascending and descending are also on new lines, but the numbers within the array are all in line. There we go. That's what I want. Bebop major. Bebop minor. Entire list, please. What? I'm upset that you wasted all that context. That's better anyway. That's much better formatted. That's what I want. Flamenco. Oh, that's nice. You can continue now. Perfect. Good job. Let's not break unicorn rules. Const scales export. Okay. Now let's switch back to the original context where we're programming our MIDI server. I keep wanting to call this file that we're building together a MIDI server. What's a more appropriate name? MIDI engine, MIDI bridge, MIDI daemon, I like that. MIDI service. Yeah, I guess it's its own MIDI sequencer in a way, as we're putting notes in. MIDI engine, or MIDI sequencer call. MIDI engine. Alright. So, what to do? Okay, I have a scales.mjs file in this format. I would like you to reprogram our script, which is working very well, and to import scales.mjs as a sibling of the file. And I want a variable or constant to select the scale that I would like to play, and I want you to use ascending and descending to play that scale back. Keep it in time with the MIDI clock implementation you provided. Okay. So, as part of the 75 hard, I have changed my diet dramatically, and one of the things I'm addicted to is Diet Coke. I call it my Coke addiction. And this is cola nut. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe that's too blurry, I'm not sure. But there's no sugar in it, but it tastes sweet, and it tastes just like Diet Coke. Maybe somewhere between Diet Coke and regular Coke. So I recommend that if you're trying to get aspartame or sugar out of your life. Alright, so here we go, we got the new script. Make sure your scales, MJS ends with export default scales. Yep, I did. Here's the next iteration. Oh, we're still going here. Make sure scales exports default, choose C major. We'll probably change that. Pick another scale. Root div 8. A shorter gate because we're doing an arpeggio, and those tend to have very succinct short notes. I'm assuming that's what it's talking about, but I might be wrong. Use ascending for the climber, descending in reverse for the fall, so it actually moves downwards. Descending. I think I might have got this a little bit muddled here, actually. Because on the descending scales, have you written them starting at 0 or have you written them starting at 12? So in the previous one that you gave me, give me a name of one of the scales that ascends and descends differently. So it gave me the wrong data. Okay. Melodic minor 0, 2, 3, 5, 7. So this one goes to a 9 and this one goes to an 8. I think for creating a flat, simple implementation of what I'm working on, it would be simpler if the descending scale was flipped to start at 12, so it represented the interval from the tonic. I believe that would make it easier to build an arpeggiator. I'm just going to check I started that video recording. Yeah, by flipping descending arrays, they start at 12 and end at 0. You map direction directly to value order without extra math, precisely. Ascending adds offsets from tonic, descending subtract or traverse inverted offsets. Works elegantly with loop-based playback, mirrored envelopes or bidirectional patterning. So current, structural, proposed, directional. So ascending, descending, the other way around. This way, when your arpeggiator iterates through descending, you can use the array literally. No need to reverse, subtract, transform the data dynamically. Perfect. Would you like me to generate the full JSON? I would love that. There we go. That's what I want to see. Very close to getting some actual music. Oh. If you're generating these dynamically in JS. No, I would like you to give me every single scale that you have mentioned throughout the duration of this conversation by name and write the ascending and descending in the manner that we've just talked about. Can you do that? "500 lines." That's not my idea of a large data set. Okay. Yes, perfect. Go for it. I'm really looking forward to trying out the octatonic. 3, 4, 6, 7. 0. Let's transpose. 0, 1, 3. Well, that sounds something like Osric Tentacles would do. Thank you very much. Out of interest, do the Osric Tentacles use octatonic scales? Export default scales. One post mentions octatonic scale from the King Crimson song. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to play that on the stream. But if you want to go and check out King Crimson by Osric Tentacles, you'll hear an octatonic scale in use. No thanks. How many scales did you provide in the recent JSON? New file. Port scales from scales MJS scales dot for high-end scales. Gosh, I can't remember how to do that now. 83 it says. Give me a piece of JavaScript to get the number of scales from the JSON file. I could do it the simple way. I want to do it the good way. So I can do like for scale in scales. I++, right? Then I could run node lib test. What's wrong with that? Oh, it's not an array. Oh, because they're named. Of course. I kind of don't want to use AI for this because I've for so it thinks it gave me 83. This script produces 63 as the output to console. Oh, that's a nice approach, yeah. Oh, I thought it was going to put a 1 next to everyone. Double check that for the duration of this conversation you have only given me 63 scales by name. Okay. All right. That is confirmed. So this was the new iteration in I2, I believe. So let's check this. Yeah. Node lib MIDI I2. Maybe I didn't copy it, or maybe it hasn't got its own arpeggio out of the way. Or did I save it to MIDI? No, that was the original thing. Let's get rid of that, because that was the same as iteration 0. New file. Ah, there we go. So I heard the scale run up twice. Oh, you know what? I don't think that... Did I replace the scales in MIDI? Oh, yep, these are descending. Ah, that's because I gave this session the one where I hadn't flipped around the descending. But it should be playing this back. All right, let me tell it. I've updated the schema as follows. Does the code need to be adjusted? I believe it does. The code already calls this. This double reverses the data, putting it back in ascended order. So that's why we heard it go do twice. So we can just take this reverse off. I wish it would provide line numbers with its diff. And I kind of understand why it doesn't, but that's not how I like to work. Let's see. That's it, remove the reverse call. Everything else works perfectly. Your scale stays as you posted. The scale player script, change one line. In the scale player script, change one line. Oh yeah, it's just showing me what it is after. Yeah, okay. There we go. Okay, good. I hear the scale going up and then coming back down now. However, after it's gone through the scale once, it no longer repeats the scale. How do we fix this? And while that's thinking, let's go in and play with the sound a little bit. I think we should use this. That's too low. Edit automation. Edit remote overlap override. There we go. So now you can see I'm twisting this dial. If you look at the camera on the bottom right, sorry. So I still don't like which one we're using. Okay, nice catch. The indices weren't resetting after full pass. Here's a drop-in update. Okay, where are we? New file. Oh, we'll duplicate this to i4. Paste that. Fingers crossed. Oh, 4. Oh, that sounds cool. All right, we're getting there. Why did that disappear? There we go. Cool. All right, so now it's stopped syncing, so it's removed some stuff. Okay, I really like what you did, but why did you stop it syncing with the reason clock? Duplicate i5, paste the new code, i5. Sync is still broken. Are you sure you're up to the task? Run this while reason is sending a clock. You should hear a coordinate blip. So I guess this is just a quick test. So let's call this blip test. Node lib blip test. There we go, it got the timing better after I started again. Double stop to start. Okay. The blip test worked. The first time I played it was slightly off time. When I started and stopped, the timing fixed. Maybe just a clock sync issue or an edge case. Scale player. 100% clock driven, no timers. Align on start. Okay. So, new iteration. Oh, I was going to duplicate that. It's easier. That looked exactly the same, so I'm just going to double do that and make sure it sticks. Okay, now I'm not playing anything. There we go. So if I start here, it's going to start the scale back. If I start here, it's going to start the scale again too, I think. Fantastic. The code is now working, but there's one more update I think we should make. When I stop and start reason in the middle of a bar, and when I stop reason in the middle of a bar and then restart, the arpeggio starts over from the start rather than playing the arpeggio from the place that it should be at that position in the audio. Not audio, in the loop. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Would this be a complicated change to get right? Or do you think this is easy? Let's see what other sounds we've got here. That one might be nice. Maybe we'll stick to what we had. Totally get it. You want resume in place. Yep. When you stop the mid bar and hit continue, the arpeggio should pick up from the exact step implied by reason's transport's position, not restart the pattern. That's easy if we make the sequencer stateless, yes, and derive the current step from the clock tick, yes. Instead of keeping mutable indices, here's a drop-in update. Why this fixes it, we compute the current step from floor tick / ticks per step and pick the note from a current pre-built cycle with modulo. On continue, we don't retest tick, so the step lands exactly where the transport left off. Great. On start, tick resets to 0, optionally snapping to step 0, align on start. F2 jumps the cursor, we recompute from that too. Perfect. Okay, good. Talk to me about start resuming in place. And while that happens, new iteration. Clear that stuff. Add the new stuff. Stop this guy. Start. See if it really does pick up where it left off. All right, let's get some actual rhythm in there for a minute. Electronic drums, electro house. Let's pick a different scale in a minute. Has it given me new code again? No. Oh, I never asked it. Whoops. Let's go choose a new scale. Let's try Dorian. Oh, caps lock is on, no wonder. Process.image.scale, cool. Alright. Let's hear Dorian. We need a baseline. Can I change the octave on this thing? There must be a way. Let's play on that one. from the top. I'll continue means resume in place. Reason will often send an SSP pointer right before start when you hit play. Start resumes in place when... Yeah, so we do want start to resume in place, so let's see. Let's see. What was the align on start? There it is. Align on start. I'm going to default to 1 for this. Yeah, there we go. You hear it reset right back to the position. Oh, maybe... So now we've got that recorded. Not sure how the transpose works on this guy. dropped a bit too low on that. All right. Cool. All right. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. So that was the Friday Creative Day of Code. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.